Welcome to the Celebration of You. I'm your host, Holly Dowling. I'm thrilled to share with you incredible people from all over the world who are living and leading extraordinary lives. From overcoming immense adversity to discovering the secret sauce to leading with courage and grace. Their stories are going to bring you hope and inspiration. Now, let the stories begin. What a magical day. Are you all in for a treat today? You know, you get these opportunities in a lifetime to meet extraordinary people at the most amazing events. And today you're about to hear from this incredible, brilliant, and beautiful woman that I had the luxury and privilege of meeting. And we'll tell you a little bit about that. It wasn't that long ago. It was a pretty special day around the world. So I'll save that one for a moment. But may I introduce you all to the beautiful Lea D'Auriol. Thank you, my friend, for being here with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you know, we have to laugh and say we just met, like a month ago?
Yeah, it must have been, a few weeks ago now. Yeah. Amazing.
Well, maybe I'm feeling like it's not, I think we've done so much that it's like, wow, has it been since, we were celebrating, we were all together for a really amazing event in New York City for International Women's Day in honoring Girl Up and World Unleashed, which was Diamonds Unleashed, right?
It was an amazing event, bringing extremely influential women together and, sharing our stories.
Yeah. And it was kind of fun. We just happened to get to sit next to each other with your amazing friends. And we just had a wonderful evening. But I just feel so privileged to have you on the show. Number one, Lea, when I met you, you just you're so full of grace, so full of humility. And then I find out what you're doing around the world. And I'm like, does anybody do this? Oh, so like everybody's like, I know people are out there going to be listening going, so what does she do? So let's dangle the carrot a little longer. So tell us, you are the founder. So there's so much goodness and richness to your life, but you are the founder of Oceanic Global. Tell us all about Oceanic Global.
So Oceanic Global is a millennial-oriented ocean conservation organization that uses art, music, and emerging technologies to educate people around awareness and its impact on the ocean. So highlighting responsible consumption of plastic and seafood. So it's really about empowering people around their daily choices and inspiring them to take action and be part of the solution.
Well, and I have to say, you make it sound so simple and effortless the way you just shared that. I, on the other hand, was doing some serious research, and I have to say, seriously, Lea, I was blown away. I'm blown away at the statistics and what, some of the stuff that I learned about this is a nonprofit. It's global, right? All over the world. Yeah. When did you start this?
I started the project around a year and a half ago. It started off as a passion project, and some of us have been doing it full time now for the last year, I would say.
So when you just dropped in their passion project, tell me about the passion that preempted the beginning of founding this company and why you wanted to do it.
So I grew up on the ocean. All my best memories are out at sea. I always knew I wanted to enter the conservation realm. I didn't realize it would be so soon. So I'm actually 28 years old. And when I found out that I only had 6 months before impact on the oceans is completely irreversible, I realized I didn't have the luxury of time. And that's really where it started from. So in the evenings, it was how do we start to bring a cause like this to a much broader audience? And from that, it grew into its own thing.
And fast. It has grown fast into this own thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then you also throw in there the millennial. Tell me about, is there a reason you wanted this to be a millennial approach to this? Or was it just so happened that it's a group of millennials that are taking off with this?
So I feel like one of the biggest things that I see in our society now is that we really do need to engage youth and millennials. Millennials are the leaders of tomorrow at the end of the day. And when we're talking about industries and when we're looking at actions that need to take place, these are the people that I wanted to empower. And these really looking at creating lasting change.
And Interesting that you say that. I do a lot of work in leadership space, and we talk a lot about the generations, right? From the baby boomers, Gen X, millennials. And millennials of all generations are the most right now proactive and being the most aware of conservation, what's really happening in our world. I feel like we're learning more from millennials around this.
Yes, I completely agree with you. And I think, now more than ever, a lot of millennials are starting to travel with the internet. Information is really at our fingertips, and people are looking at following their passions and getting involved in more unconventional ways. So I think when we talk about something, as vast as ocean conservation, millennials are the group who are still kind of molding their ideas around it and who can actively kind of change their consumer habits and be part of the solution. So it's much easier for them to be engaged in a subject like this. And making sure that, they are the leaders of tomorrow, making sure that they're working towards this too.
Which I love. I love that we have a generation that's just being so proactively seeking out to learn, to grow, to be aware, and to take a place in the actions that they're going to do. Okay, so some statistics that were startling to me. So I just have to thank you because of you, I'm actually sharing this with other people, and I want all the listeners to know, and pipe in at any time, Lea, because I want you to even give us more than what I'm reading. But what I learned from your organization is that each year we throw away enough plastic to circle the earth 4 times. Seriously?
Yeah. I mean, when you start to look at something like single-use plastic and the plastic consumption going on a global scale, it's crazy. To give you an idea, in the US alone, we use 500 million plastic straws a day.
What?
So this 500 million plastic straws a day in one country, that's enough plastic straws to circle the earth 90 times. So we've really become, consumers that don't really understand the impact. And it's really about educating people to become more conscious consumers and to start to make behavioral changes that are living at one with the planet versus adding to the magnitude of the issues.
Oh, seriously. Tell me about the plastic vortex. That one blew my mind.
Yes. So the plastic vortex is, it's a soup of plastic nearly floating in the Pacific that's the size of Texas. People are looking at how to break it down. There has been no real solutions around it yet, partly due to a lack of, finances going into looking at solutions within that space. But right now, every piece of plastic that has ever been created still exists. And a large majority of them are ending up in these plastic vortexes. So that's definitely one of the biggest issues. It's looking at this idea that nothing, everything that's being created from plastic still exists and is just adding on to the problem. And another statistic that completely blows my mind is that by 2050, we're projected to have more plastic in our oceans than sea life.
Oh, that just made my stomach turn. Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Lea, I still can't even fathom that we have a vortex of plastic floating around in the Pacific right now, the size of Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we wonder, why are we recycling, right? I mean, we could spend hours. This is why you're in this as a passion. It's and these are just a few of the statistics of what's happening. I can't even imagine what's happening to our sea life. And then we're consuming the sea life. So this is like a cycle, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, right now we're projected 35% of our fish are actually contaminated with plastic. So it's definitely entered the human food chain.
Oh, all right. So tell me, I mean, we could sit here and I'm a data person. So, like when we had dinner, I couldn't stop asking you questions. I'm like, oh, and then I'd start to cry. I'm like, what? How do we not know about this? You have to be on my show. People need to know about this. It's like, but tell us, okay, so take us now to, I have so many things I want to do. Take us to what's about to happen. You've got some launches coming up, both in the States and then over in Spain. Tell us about this and what is all this going to be about?
So we have our official launch taking place in New York on the 11th of April. So we're extremely excited. we're really going to be showcasing, our partners, our work within the space, what we've accomplished, and what we're going to be working on. So really giving a sneak peek, especially of our first event taking place in Ibiza this summer. This is part of a city-by-city immersive experience series, and bringing together different panelists to kind of really educate, different leaders in industry, different people in the nonprofit world, and just influencers in general.
And then that takes us to the huge event in July, right?
Extremely excited. So on July 20th, we're going to be doing our major event in Ibiza, which is bringing together 8,000 people. So really using art, music, and emerging tech as a vehicle to do so. And, creating an amazing experience, which is highlighting responsible consumption of plastic and seafood. So creating a platform of different speakers, different solutions within the space, bringing in some of our partners like the United Nations, Oceana, Bloom Association, and making sure to position them as solutions too.
And 8,000 people coming together in Spain for this amazing event. That's huge. So this takes us to your background. So interestingly enough, I'm sitting there going, how does this woman have is it the brilliance, the experience? You've had quite the background in conceptualizing and creating and producing huge events. And you've worked with some amazing companies, from Ferrari to Rolls-Royce. So tell us a little bit about your background and the expertise that you're bringing into this space, Lea.
So my background is actually in special events and experiential marketing, and I did that for around 2 years before starting Oceanic. It was an amazing learning curve, being able to work with these brands and being able to deliver to a certain quality, being able to understand the demographic and what they're looking for. And I realized I need to apply what I've learned to the NGO world, and to be able to have the same amount of engagement for a cause.
I love it. Well, that explains the magnitude of the level of this event, right? Like being able to do a major event. So what I'm really fascinated is we meet people like you. People get the opportunity to be, I call it like reignited. You give us a new perspective on like living. You choose to live and make your life about doing something much bigger and beyond yourself. But take us back to, I always like to know, take me back to your childhood or as a younger girl. Like, was there ever a moment in your life that you would say was pivotal? That was, I've always find that really extraordinary people like yourself have a pivotal moment in their life that maybe was a turning point for you, that made you realize maybe you hit rock bottom, or maybe you had a moment in your life that changed you, that said, this is how I'm going to live the rest of my life. Anything like that for you, Lea, from even as a child?
I think I was extremely blessed in the way that I was brought up in a way to always follow my dreams and to really live at one with myself and have the opportunity to do what inspires me at the end of the day. So I always kind of knew that I was going to enter something like this. I went through a few different experiences, such as, loss of family members, and that definitely sparked something, and probably accelerated and acted as a catalyst for this. Definitely. But I also think that some way was, it was the path that I was meant to go on.
It was all part of the destiny, right? It was
exactly.
Done.
Yeah.
And I know you shared this with me that night at dinner, but I found it amazing. And I don't want to put words into your mouth, but the fact that you grew up on the ocean and you have lost your mother and you continue to live your passion with the ocean, and you see your father. I love what your commitment is. Will you share with all of us? Because this isn't like, I don't go to dinner with my dad every 2 months and he lives down the street, right?
Yeah. So to give a little recap on that story in particular, my dad lives in Hong Kong and my sister lives in London. And so as a family, we really made a commitment to see each other and spend time with each other. And so every 2 months we meet somewhere in the world and make sure that we spend a few days really disconnected from all the craziness, and just really spend family time together and creating new memories and experiences.
I just love that. I think your commitment to what you're doing with your family, if every person could hear that, and I know not everybody has the means or the ability to go around the world to do it, but look at how close we live in proximity when we're just a few states away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And your commitment, I just think that's amazing. And I love the fact that it's wherever, and you're leaving, this week? You're going to Asia to see your family, to see your father, right?
Yes, I actually leave on Thursday. Very excited.
And then you have to be back in New York, my friend. You've got an event.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, I would love to also, Lea, what I love is people are going to be fascinated. They're going to be like I was, like, wow, like you're a part of something that is a global awareness that it takes us having to seek out and hear these things to learn more about it. So tell us how people can learn more about you and the nonprofit Oceanic Global, but tell us everything you want us to know. And specifically, if somebody listening would like to reach out to you and how best to do that, you tell us.
Yeah, so the best way to really follow what we're doing right now and learn about some of our projects is signing up and looking at our website. So www.oceanic.global. We have our newsletter called The Current that comes out every 2 weeks. And on the website too, there's an email address. So please reach out if you have any questions or would like to be a part of, this movement that we're creating. And feel free to follow us on social media and tag us and communicate with us.
How perfect is that? Just tag us and communicate with us. And if everybody goes on, I'm telling you, everybody listening to this needs to go online, check out Oceanic Global like I did, read all about it. It's startling. It's sad. But it also is what we need, Lea, is we need to be shocked sometimes as human beings to help us have a greater awareness of how we can all be doing something to make a difference.
100%.
So what can we do? Can you give me some tips? Like right now, I know you're going to think this is pathetic, what I'm about to say, but would you tell us to all stop drinking out of water bottles? And now, and I've just learned recently, it doesn't even matter to put them in your recycling bin. Is that true? Yeah. Give us some tips and things we can do.
Yes. So for us, it's really not just about raising awareness, but it's providing people with solutions. So the first one I would say is eliminating single-use plastics. We mentioned plastic straws. A very easy one is every time you use the straw, remember that one plastic straw is going to outlive your grandchildren. So all you have to do is say, no, thank you. Or the plastic bag when you're, checking out at the supermarket. Packaging is a huge one. Next time I challenge a lot of, our audience, and I say, try and go shopping and not buy anything that comes in plastic, and you'll see it becomes a real task. Mm-hmm. But those are the most obvious. And then, on the seafood side, it's really looking at how your seafood is caught, educating people around that, making sure that you as a consumer are making educated consumption choices. And where your choices are going and you're voting for them at the same time.
I think the straw is going to be my biggest takeaway. I'm blown away.
Amazing.
Yeah.
One of the things I also say is shrimp. Shrimp is one of the worst things that you can eat. The bycatch of shrimp is over 95%. And that's the most consumed seafood in the US.
Wait, just repeat that one more time so that everybody hears what you just said. I think my mouth just dropped.
Okay. So shrimp is the most consumed seafood in the United States. For one shrimp that is caught, 95 times that is thrown away in terms of waste, which we call bycatch.
95 for every 95 are thrown away and wasted?
Yes. On average.
How do we not know this? Right. As to why you are passionate about bringing this to the world, right?
Exactly. This is exactly why we're here.
Yes.
Try and help this message and spread it.
Oh, I think I just had my own, I'm having my own little moment right now, Lea, where I'm having my own, I'm looking up going, I'm having my own come to Jesus, as I'm calling it, because I had no idea about that. And I have to admit, I'm going to tell everybody out there that listens to this that I, Holly, am a massive straw user. Like I'm one of those people that I want a straw in everything because I'm always, it sounds weird, but I always feel like drinking out of cups in restaurants. I'm going to get more germs. But you know what, Lea? I am going to commit. I am going to do this. And I'm all about accountability. So I'm going to commit that I'm going to do my very best starting now to stop using straws. Okay?
I am so happy to hear that. Thank you.
So now I know people that will see me or I'll be out and about. I'm leaving in the morning to catch a plane to go speak. And anybody that hears this, they can hold me accountable now, right? It's like,
yeah.
Well, I always like to wrap this up with, and my guests don't really know where I'm going to go with this, but this is very top of mind because I love this. Just got so much information from you. But Lea, and I don't even know your age, so it doesn't really matter what the age is. I just want to ask you, if you were to go back to your 20-year-old self, I always like to know, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self based on who you are today and what you know today?
Follow what feels right to you. Make sure that, you're not spending your time and energy doing things for other people, and just making sure that you have the chance to experience and work hard at it and just try different things and see what feels right. And be passionate about whatever you do. For me, it's my biggest thing is about lighting that inner spark within people and getting people to be active. And that is my message to my 20-year-old self and to anyone else listening to this.
I love that. And, I just want to give you a compliment as I wrap this up. And my other guests from who knows how many shows will be like, wow, you didn't do that for me if they're listening to this. But it occurred to me as I'm listening to you and I was thinking back on our evening in New York. And I hope you know, my friend, that spending those few hours with you, if you don't realize this, I want you to know the gift you are to the people in your presence. You are one of the most present human beings I've ever been around. And to me, we use presence and being present. It's a big buzzword in today's world. And yet I'm very, very passionate about that because I always say, what does that really mean? It means being attentive and receptive. And being in your presence is a gift, Lea, because you are so fully present to the person you're talking to. And I want you to know that it never went. I felt 100% completely engaged with you and you never were distracted. And I don't know if you realize how rare that is. And I thank you for bringing that to the people around you.
Well, thank you so much. And, I would have said exactly the same thing back to you. It was extremely special to be able to sit down and have those hours and to share our stories together.
We did share stories, didn't we? We had some good stories, yes. And with the whole gang, all of us. Well, I just thank you for being here. Have an amazing safe travels to Asia. Have an amazing kickoff in New York. And I said to you that night, and I mean it, if I can ever serve and support you in any capacity, if you need a speaker, whatever you need, you just let me know because I so believe in what you're doing. And you have given me a new passion in life to be far more aware and start being an active participant. So thank you.
Amazing. And Holly, keep us up to date without using your straws, how that's going.
Oh, I know. And you can text me and ask me if you want. You can do little bugs to me and just say, just checking. Did you cheat? Are you a cheater or did you stick with it? I will. All right, my love. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of the day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you for joining me for another awesome celebration of you. If you were inspired by this story, please share it with your family and friends and hashtag Your Story Matters. I'd love to hear from you, so please leave a comment on iTunes. And absolutely, please come to my website, hollydowling.com. Leave a comment there too, and while you're there, pick up your free gift. Most importantly though, just remember that your life is a gift from God. What you do with it is your gift back.